You know, maybe all I needed was for the blood to be removed from my body, and that like medieval doctors were right, and you could just bleed out illness. Monday morning, it's about 6:30, and I'm about to get about 8 miles easy on the treadmill. The weekend was good. Obviously, we had Father's Day over the weekend. I guess if you're watching this, it's been about a week since Father's Day, right? But these are all a week delayed. And it was good. We, just played it pretty chill. Went and got some treats in the morning or so, and then in the afternoon went to a splash pad with the kids, and then dealt with complete meltdowns as they were just so exhausted from being in the sun and stuff. So that's always fun. It was a little bit rough getting them to bed, and then we got to bed late too. But yeah, I need to lock some stuff in. I think diet and nutrition as well as sleep are things that have been a little bit subpar as of late. Not necessarily intentionally, but my daughter is going through some weird sleep stuff that we're trying to figure out, and basically she's waking up 5 times a night, and this is my middle child, right? So my soon to be 5-year-old, she's waking up like 4 or 5 times a night, and it's making it really, really hard to get to bed. And then summer, we're just out a little bit more. The sun's out, so we're getting to bed later, and so I'm getting less sleep, and we just gotta lock it all in because I can feel that it's starting to affect me physically. That, and then being in the office 3 times a week has made it just throwing my balance a little bit off. So we've got to adjust. Totally fine. We're going to be fine. But a couple of things like this week, I'm really going to make sure that like my easy runs are easy. I think I have been pushing a little bit, especially in the sun, with that heat, extra heat. I'm just terrible with heat. Anything above like 70 on a run for me, like on a workout, and I get crushed. You didn't see it because the sound quality got all jacked up for some reason on my long run last weekend, or this last weekend. But basically, I just completely bombed my progression run, and I had to stop multiple times. At the end, I got lightheaded, I got goosebumps, just kind of chills. And, some of that is like heat exhaustion or like heat stroke type symptoms, which is so weird because I was hydrating. It wasn't that hot. I had electrolytes. I was fueling like everything, and my body just wasn't having it. So got to nail that down. Luckily, I don't really race in the heat, but that doesn't mean I'll never race in the heat. But anyway, some things that definitely like haven't gone well with training so far. So I don't think I need to take a step back necessarily right now, but I am going to monitor some things and adjust accordingly. So. All right, so there we go. That was 8.4 miles because we did some strides at the end, and we kept our heart rate super, super chill. So 10:25 was my average pace. Spent a lot of miles at 11. I just wanted to keep the legs moving, the heart low, pure aerobic, right? No doubt in my mind, pure aerobic. That was the goal today. So we accomplished that, happy with that. Gonna get some breakfast and then head to work, but yeah, feeling good overall. Was tired to start the morning. I'm still tired, and yeah, we'll get an upper body lift at work, so that's what we're gonna do. I don't know if you can see that. 132 average heart rate. So we kept it way down, way low. I didn't want any bleeding into zone 3 today. In fact, a good chunk of that was zone 1. So yeah, I don't think all your easy runs need to be like this, right? Again, while I do believe heart rate is a really good indicator, especially if you're someone like me who tends to want to push the pace, right? Who wants to pick it up. But at the end of the day, easy enough that you can breathe, you can have a full conversation, easy enough that you can go the next day and go hard, or just continue to hit your miles, hit your paces throughout the week. Tuesday morning, it's a little after 6:30. We've got about 8 miles of quality today, and I'll be honest, I feel pretty crappy. Just feel a little bit off. I slept fine, but I don't know, my head, my stomach all feels a little bit weird. But basically the workout today
is 800s, 400s, 200s, getting progressively faster with walking rest in between. So we'll hit the warm-up, kind of see how we feel, and if we're doing okay, then we'll get into the quality portion. If we're feeling crappy, we may just pivot, go easy, and yeah, just go from there. So just did 4 8s, got about 2 minutes rest, and then we're gonna do 8 4s. I hit the paces on the 8s, but I'm redlining like mid 190s. That is not right. That is not where I should be at 6:15 pace. Not even close. Shoot. This is now like 4 or 5 days in a row where I've got, it's weird, like just legitimate physical signs of fatigue and stuff on my run that are preventing me from executing how I want. Perceived effort through the roof. Dang it. Okay. We'll have to figure it out. All right, we failed this workout. I cut out the last 2 400s because my pace was fading so much. I've noticed I'm not sweating a lot. I hydrate a lot. I was hydrating a lot yesterday. Like, these paces should not be difficult, at least not at these intervals and with the rest. So I don't know, am I dehydrated? Like, am I overworked? Is work stress just finally getting to me? Maybe I need to switch out some of my easy runs for biking, cross training. I don't know. Maybe I need a lower mileage, but look at that salt. Okay, so I just scheduled with my doctor Friday morning. I'm going in, I'm gonna get some blood work. It's probably just general fatigue, right? Probably just stress, but it's been a couple of years, I think like a year and a half, 2 years since I've done blood work. So I think I talked about this yesterday, maybe I talked about this last week. I just think it's a good idea for people to go get blood work. I think, you know, as adults, a lot of times we stop going and getting checkups, like annual checkups. It's not a bad idea to check things out. I've also got like a little bump on my arm that might be skin cancer, right? So like little things, just take care of them before they turn into big things. It doesn't hurt. Of course, depends on medical coverage, and I do understand that, but assuming you can, it's affordable and you can go do it. Like, go get your checkups. So yeah, Friday morning, gonna go get my blood drawn, figure out if there's anything wrong with me, and if there's anything that I can do to address it in the short term. This is the work gym. We're getting the lunch lift in. Only have about 40 minutes, so got like 25 left, trying to condense everything. I wanted to run a little bit more after my run this morning was garbage, but I figured the lift alone would be taxing, so I worked through lunch, getting the quick lift in, less than an hour. We'll get back to the desk. We got a meeting here in, 35 minutes, so gotta be done in like 25 so I can rinse off and look good. All right, it is Wednesday. I'm gonna go get on the treadmill for this morning's run. I feel absolutely crappy, just exhausted. I had the hardest time getting out of bed this morning. Again, I went and got my blood tested, blood draw, like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, because I was experiencing similar things, just chronic fatigue, just like absolutely exhausted, wasn't able to hit paces, different things. You know, in the past, it was post-COVID, kind of needing to try and figure out like what was going on there. I don't know if that's this, you know, the same thing this time or what's going on. So I need to figure that out, but you know, we're just gonna go get the run in really easy, go slow on the treadmill, not stress the body out too much. And today's, you know, a single workout day, so I'm not gonna lift or anything. So hopefully feel better overall. But all right, so on Monday, running this pace and effort, my heart rate was in the 120s. Today, running at this pace and effort, my heart rate is already up in the low 130s, which is crazy. So I'm running like almost 90 seconds, 75 seconds slower than what my easy pace and effort was like, I would say like 2 months ago. So this is kind of why I'm a little concerned. Is it just fatigue? Am I just burnt out? I've actually lowered my mileage. I don't know. We'll have to go check it out. Okay, so was gonna run 7 miles, and heart rate's not everything, right? But heart rate is an indicator of what could be going on in your body, right? It is something you should pay attention to, right? It's not necessarily the only guideline. I want to be clear on that. I'm not saying go race by heart rate, right? It can be helpful maybe in trail running, but road running, a lot of times perceived effort, pace, all those different things are going to be better indicators, right? And you have to trust your body, right? You have to trust your training. However, given recent runs, getting on the treadmill, set the treadmill at literally like a 1040 pace, which for me, a 1040 pace on the treadmill with fans blowing, my heart rate would normally be 125-ish, like average. I was hitting like 148. So yeah, I don't know. That's too big of a discrepancy for me. With how I'm feeling, like I said, I woke up just absolutely wrecked. I don't know if I'm just feeling like I got like 7.5 hours of sleep last night. I ate plenty. I hydrated plenty, right? I had a snack before this run. Hydration, electrolytes, all of it. Yeah, normally I can still at least run easy, even if I'm burnt out. So I don't know, maybe I've just got a lot of fatigue in the legs. I don't know. I might try and do another 3 or 4 easy again on the treadmill in the afternoon, see if that helps, but yeah.
All right, Thursday morning, and I'm gonna be trying a progression run this morning, trying to see if I can get my body to respond and just taking it a little bit easier and building up gradually to some paces. Yesterday, I called my run early because I just really was not feeling it. The body was not responding. Even on an easy run, everything just felt really slow, lethargic. My heart rate was through the roof, and it was on the treadmill. So like all those things, it didn't really make sense to me. But we're gonna give it another shot today. We've got our doctor's appointment tomorrow. And yeah, if I'm not feeling great today, I'll just call it partway through again, which is why I'm gonna do it on the treadmill as well. So we'll get it done, see how the body's feeling. But unfortunately, because of the last, almost week of runs now, I'm just not optimistic. So we'll see, but let's get moving.
Okay, that's progress. So just did the progression run, and again, I'm using Runna, so it gives me the windows, like the pace windows. So for progression run, it wanted me to go 1 mile warm up, no recommended pace, just conversational. And then it was 7:55 for 2 miles, 7:35 for 1.5, 7:15 for 1.5, and then 7:05 or something for 1, and then a 1 mile cool down. And those were the low ends, right? So like it gives you, if you look at the workout description, it gives you like the average pace, right, for the interval, and then it'll give you like a low and a high. So I stuck on the low end, just given my recent struggles. Even though it was only a little over an hour run, I had 90 grams of carbs, right? Just making sure that I'm fueled. I had water, I drank electrolytes beforehand, so I did everything I need to, and then I had fans going on me and was on the treadmill to control my pace. And don't get me wrong, I took a couple of breaks, like pauses, where I would just walk for a little bit and then I'd get back into the pace. So I never fully stopped, but I would pause and then get back into the pace. And so I still was able to hit the splits on the low end with those walking breaks, which is very good, feeling very, very good about that. I'm tired today, for sure. I'm tired every day. I'm still going to the doctor tomorrow, still getting my blood work, but I'm a little more optimistic now that, you know, my 2 failed workouts were outside in the direct sun. Wasn't that hot, but I know I'm really, like, my body's really bad with heat, like really, really bad with heat. So maybe it's just the summer, but it wasn't so hot that I felt like I should have faded like I did. So we'll see, but you know, hoping that everything's okay, hoping everything's healthy. It also probably really helped that I only ran 3 miles yesterday. So, you know, balance, maybe I need to cross train on my Wednesday runs or something, or split my mileage into doubles so it's a little bit less taxing than like a one big long run every day. So anyways, Brooks Hyperion Max 3. So completely different shoe than past versions, right? Past iterations. Very, very different from the 1. Still very different from the 2, but at least they're in the same general category for the most part. But this is a true super trainer. You know, the PIBA foam up top, a supercritical EVA foam on bottom. You know, so you've got the DNA Gold and the DNA Flash V2. So DNA Flash V2, that's what is in the Hyperion 3 as well as Hyperion 2. It is a softer version though than what is in the 2, in my opinion. But more stable than you would think. Everyone's really worried about that medial cutout. The medial cutout's pretty minimal, to be honest. Especially because this foam is a lot more supportive than other fast supercritical foams. So it's not gonna collapse in a ton. Now, I don't think it still is gonna be like the best choice for those who have stability needs. Like, I got my wife the Hyperion Max 2 because she usually runs instability shoes, and so it was a good speed option for her because there's not a lot of fast, stable options. So I got her those, and she really enjoys them, uses them for her speed work. You know, these maybe aren't gonna be that. And one of the big, but I do think they're more stable. And if you look at the cutout, like the carbon fiber plate is right there. So despite having the softer, more responsive, squishy foam up top, and their PIBA is not like crazy squishy compared to some other brands too. So Brooks just tends to be a little firmer on all foam fronts. But the plate is right below the foam. So, you know, even though it does squish, you still get a lot of stability or structure underneath that PIBA foam. And then you have this more supportive, firmer foam underneath. But the shoe is, I mean, it's a wider base. It's a wide, friendly fit. It reminds me a lot of the New Balance Super Comp line, but it's not maybe as squishy as that. But I kind of like that. I think it is a little bit bouncier, right? I think sometimes the Super Comp trainer, the last one at least, it was a little bit too soft and it took a little bit too long to rebound. And so even though you had the carbon fiber plate, like, it just wasn't the snappiest. This is more reminiscent of, you know, the SC Trainer 1, the original SC Trainer, which has a special, that shoe has a special spot in my mind. But I mean, even like the upper is kind of like a booty-ish style upper, but it has good structure, right? There's better lockdown. So Hyperion Max 3, like, it's my one knock on these super trainers, like the only one I will willingly grab. No, that's not true. Like, it's just like, they're fun shoes to run in. They're really, really heavy. So sometimes it's hard for me because I only really want to use it if I'm doing like a progression run like today, or like a long tempo, right? Or a long run with tempo pace, or something along those lines. And if I'm moving fast, I like to feel nimble. And these tend to be pretty, not clunky, but like they're heavy, they're big. And yes, they're bouncy, but it's not the same as, you know, wearing a super shoe or even like a lower stack plated trainer, right? That still has nowadays like nearly 40 millimeters of stack height. Like, those are still very cushioned, very comfortable. So in my mind, I just would rather, other than like the Super Blast 2, I would rather run in something like the Endorphin Speed for a long run workout, or maybe even just a super shoe, right? I mean, I test a lot of shoes, so I have the luxury of being able to use super shoes on those types of runs, right? But this is fun. This was really, really fun. I hit sub 7-minute pace in it, and I didn't feel like the shoe was holding me back at all, right? And that's important because sometimes when they're really heavy, you feel like they're holding you back. I did not feel like these were holding me back. They are very responsive, very bouncy. They're very fun. And I wish that the upper, like the tongue, it has kind of this awkward, like, almost, like kind of like, you know, like a beanbag chair doesn't have a form that you kind of, as you sit on it, you push the beanbags or the beans around, and so it kind of conforms to your body shape. The tongue has like a filling like something like some fluff or something inside the tongue. Even though it's a knit tongue, there is like a filling in it, and it's almost like a beanbag where it's not like structured. It's not like just a nice cushion. It's like loose filling inside the tongue, and you don't notice it while you run. And I understand that that's just to protect you from like lace bite, lace pressure, especially with kind of a knit tongue and then a knit upper, even though there's a structure. But for some reason it really annoys me. So I'm nitpicking here, but the Hyperion Max 2, really good shoe. I'll do a full review probably next week. Cause yeah, I should have 30 plus miles on it by the end of next week. So should do a full review next week. You should be able to see that. And yeah, there you go. Happy with my run today. Glad I chose to do it on the treadmill. I think I would have failed it honestly outside. And I think part of that would have been mental too. And so I really needed the win. We're going to the doctor tomorrow. We'll see kind of if anything's up. Gonna make sure that the heart, the lungs, the body, everything's working properly. And yeah, happy Thursday, everyone. All right, it is Friday morning and we're doing something a little bit different this morning, obviously, not running. I'm going to the doctor. So I have my doctor's appointment. We'll see how this goes. They're gonna do a blood draw and, test for testosterone, magnesium, iron, vitamin D, all of the things that keep us functioning and tell us that our body's normal. So I hope to still be able to run, but obviously, so I had to be fasted for this. And so obviously not running beforehand. And yeah, we'll see how we feel after. Last time I did this test, or I got blood drawn, they took 6 vials. Because of all the different things they wanted to test, and I almost passed out on the table. So yeah, that may happen again. I'm kind of anticipating that, unfortunately, happening again. But yeah, I mean, yesterday was a better indicator, not indicator, a better, like, all of a sudden, better sign. My run was still difficult, but I got it done. And so yeah, that was nice, because it's just been a rough week of running, rough week of workouts, and just want to feel good again. So we shall see. But yeah, I haven't really plugged Tokyo Marathon in this vlog, I don't think. So again, I am raising money for the Tokyo Marathon. I'm going to enter through the charity route, which means I'll get a guaranteed entry if I post a winning bid towards a charity. They do it auction style. I'm going to bid $4,000. I do believe that should be enough to get me in. If for whatever reason that's not, like, let's say, hey, I was wrong, it's not enough, I don't get in through that charity route, unfortunately, I don't know that there's going to be a workaround to be able to run it, and so I won't be able to run it, but I will still donate. I'm committed to donating all revenue from the channel, whether that's through donations, whether that is through just ad revenue, whether that's through the commissions generated through Wallaco and Fuel Goods. $4,000 minimum, that's what I'm committing. I will attempt to raise $3,000 back through the donations, through revenue, all that, but then I will give $1,000 of my own dollars, and then on top of that, anything over will go towards a charity benefiting men's mental health. And I will, again, if I don't get into the Tokyo Marathon for whatever reason, I will donate all of the money to a charity benefiting men's mental health. So you got nothing to lose if you want to support as far as getting that money into charity organizations. Yeah, I hope that can coincide with obviously me running the Tokyo Marathon in 2026. So. All right, we just got a 7-mile treadmill run in, aiming to keep the heart rate low. For the most part, I try to keep it around 140, and then the last few miles I allowed it to climb probably an average of about 145, but probably capped out around 150, which I do believe is actually the top end of my zone 2. So, overall, I had to go slow. Part of that's because of the heat. I'm in the garage, I've got fans blowing on me, but it's still 90 degrees. And, part of that is I just didn't want to stress the body. I got 4 vials of blood drawn earlier today, and, obviously, like it's fine, I'm okay. I ate and hydrated throughout the day and waited until the end of my work day to get my run in today because of that. But all in all, I felt good, and that's good. I'm optimistic about the direction of my health right now, and went to the doctor, gonna find out if there's anything wrong that I need to deal with. So, however, I did get to test some fun shoes. So first thoughts, Mizuno Waverider 29, right? I'll be transparent, it's not a shoe in the past that I would have liked to review. The Waverider series has felt a little bit outdated for a while, and I just felt like there was a lot of better daily trainers on the market. But this is part of the new kind of update that Mizuno launched this year. They kind of pre-kicked it off with the Vista 1 last year, but this would be mystery shoe number 3, right? So there was the 4 mystery shoes that were announced during TRE at the end of the year. This was number 3, and it is the Waverider 29, which is kind of their standard daily trainer, right? So a little bit more of a traditional upper. In fact, the upper feels a little bit old school, but is actually surprisingly light and breathable. I need to look at the specs on the shoe. I do have the spec sheet, but you get a more structured standard heel counter. But the star of the show is really this midsole, which is, they call it Mizuno Energy NXT or Next. That does not, it's kind of like how New Balance uses Fuel Cell, and Fuel Cell has a couple of different compounds. This is a nitrogen infused EVA. So we have nitrogen infused TPU in the Zen and the Vista. This is nitrogen infused EVA, but it is very soft, very bouncy overall. And you have this wave plate or this plastic shank plate. It might be fiberglass in the midsole. It's like a partial shank, right? So it's almost like a plated shoe, but it's not throughout the entire shoe. And frankly, the foam would be too soft without that in it. So in that forefoot area, it does feel a little bit like it feels like it compresses a ton. That shank gives it a little bit more structure and stability. So the shoe as a whole is not the most stable shoe I've ever worn, but it is fairly stable. And I really like the underfoot ride. It's very, very comfortable. The shoe can pick up a little bit more. I didn't do strides today just because of how I'm feeling, but I'll continue to test it out. But I do think the shoe is gonna have some really good responsiveness. The foam is soft yet responsive and bouncy, but it is very, very squishy, right? You can compress it very easily. Not a shoe though that you're gonna be wobbling in that heel area because of that plate.
Saturday, all right. So because of what's going on with my health, I guess I don't know what's going on with my health, but because of that, I figured that it would be best to actually just run on the treadmill this morning and have my fuel and water and electrolytes and everything next to me. So we're just doing an 11-mile easy run. We're gonna do it on the tread, lots of treadmill miles this week. Better safe than sorry. That's just how I'm looking at it. It's better to, be somewhere where I can be safe. So that's what we're doing. Now, as far as supplements or things that I'm using, I talked about having my fuel. I've got a couple of new things that I want to try today. So for one, I did get the G1M Sport Plus from BPN. Never tried any BPN products, not sponsored, affiliated, anything like that. It's just their first actual pre-workout. So they've had, a carb electrolyte mix and different things like that, but if you follow me, you know that I always take some caffeine. I don't drink coffee, so it kind of just takes the placement of that. So I'm going to be using that. The other thing is that Tailwind did send me some samples to use or to try, and so I'm going to go ahead and try the DeWalter melon. I'm just going to put this in a bottle and then drink it as I run. And then I'll probably just go through also some carb gels, which I've been using these for a while. But one thing I like about the pre-workout, at least looking at the ingredients, it's kind of nice. It's got carbs, electrolytes, and caffeine. So the pre-workout that I used before, really, really good. Also had they had 2 versions. One was not a watered down version, but an everyday use one. One was more of a race day one. The race day one had carbs and it had some electrolytes. So I like having all 3 because then I can just get some liquid carbs in or something before my run. Lately I've just been drinking a Gatorade, which I think also works because then you're getting some carbs easily digestible, right? You're not gonna feel bloated, and then also some electrolytes in there, and I'm crazy salty sweater, so It doesn't matter how many electrolytes I take in, I just get salt all over me as I run. So anyway, we're gonna give this a shot today and see how we feel. I'm gonna go slow, right? Just 11 miles. Probably will take me, honestly, will probably take me like 2 hours today. So 90 grams of carbs per hour roughly. So we've got about 100 here, and then grab another, probably go more closer to 80 today. We'll grab some, so we'll go 160 grams of carbs for the run. We've got 2 more precision gels, so that would be 160. So yeah, should be good. Not too worried. Worst case scenario, step off the treadmill. So.
You know, maybe all I needed was for the blood to be removed from my body, and that like medieval doctors were right, and you could just bleed out illness. Cause man, felt crappy yesterday, but you know what? That was the best run I've had maybe in like 3 weeks. And maybe the key there is just taking it easy and easing into things, because I started real slow. I ended up finishing, so I just ran 11 miles on the treadmill, you know, had the fan blowing on me from both directions, had 160 grams of carbs, so 80 grams of carbs an hour on this run. Came in at just about 1 hour and 50 minutes, which is a 10-minute mile pace. Yes, yeah, 10-minute mile pace. And honestly, we were going we went basically 11-minute miles for the first 4. Then we went like 10:40s, 10:30s, 10:20s, 10s. And then my last mile I actually laid out at, it probably ended up being like 7:30 pace. I'm not sure. On the treadmill, I dropped it down to 7 towards the end. We're like 6:57. So I felt so crappy running fast in the last week and a half, that I just wanted to get some real turnover and feel good while I was feeling good. So I did 10 of the miles conservative, cutting down gradually, like really, really gradually. And then the last mile, I was like, okay, let me get some gas behind these. So really happy about that. I think I might need to stick to the treadmill for a while, just be able to control my efforts a little bit better, reduce some of the impact on the body, just, you know, fuel and hydration better accessible, and if things go bad, I'm at home, at least until I figure out what's going on with my health. But that's 2-3 days in a row where the body felt a lot better, after basically like 4 or 5 days in a row, at least on my runs, right? About 4 or 5 days in a row where like I just felt like garbage. So yeah, anyway, on the week, I'm actually not sure what my mileage is. You know, it was supposed to be right around 50 to 52 or something like that. But I cut a lot of runs short just because, well, frankly, I felt like pure garbage. So, you know, with this week down, I might I am utilizing the Runna app, right? And I almost feel like maybe I should redo this week just because the workouts were so crappy. And it's not like I have a 5K, like an official 5K on the calendar, right? So as of right now, I'm planning on just a time trial for my 5K, in which case I can do it whenever, wherever. So I might just redo this week and hopefully nail the workouts before I progress, right? Because the workouts, the one thing about Runna and a running plan is, you know, it should kind of build on itself. And I feel like that is not gonna happen if I just skip and try and then go to the next workouts, which will be, in theory, like progressing and kind of harder. So anyway, there's the mileage, there's the time on feet. Lower ends up being almost like a deload week, frankly. But, you know, just another plug. If you want to support the channel, support, you know, my journey to Tokyo, I need to do the math on when I should start that build, but I believe that charity entries are soon, and I need to figure out how to do that. I just know that I need to go the charity route. So planning on committing and donating $4,000. If you would like to support that, please hit that super thanks or that heart thanks down below. Go ahead and choose whatever dollar amount helps. You can also purchase fuel. So all the fuel I ate on my run today, I had some Tailwind in the bottle. I had, precision gels and carb gels. Those you can all find on Fuel Goods. Go ahead, use the affiliate link below. All commissions for June, July, and August were going towards charity, as well as the Wallaco tights that I was wearing today. Wallaco, these are my favorite tights. They've got pockets. So you've got a foam pocket here that fits really, really nice. On this side, you've got, you can put your gels, your keys, whatever here. And then on the back, actually, you've got 2 gel pockets there on the back as well. So, these tights, half tights, they are what I am planning on wearing in the marathon. They are what I race in. I basically do all my speed work and my long runs in them because of the storage that they have, and just because, they stick to the body, get it out of the way, So any commissions from Wallaco as well, use RadDad20 at checkout. All of that goes towards charity, June, July, and August. So all ad revenue, all commissions, all donations, everything will go towards charity for June, July, and August. And then once I officially have my marathon entry for Tokyo set up, then I will get an actual fundraising link that I will use to raise the money back to be able to, donate that and get to Tokyo. So appreciate you guys for supporting. Appreciate you guys for sticking with me. All the kind words, messages, whatnot, with my health kind of being off. I appreciate it. We'll see how what the blood tests say. Got stabbed yesterday. So we'll see what the blood tests say, and hopefully it's nothing serious, and hopefully I can just kind of reset the body and get fast and then build for Tokyo. So we'll see you later.